Dire situation in Gaza is poised to grow worse. Israel is moving to empty Gaza City of its roughly 1 million residents.
Welcome to the brutal truth.
The brutal truth about Gaza. The war in Gaza ended months ago with the release of the last hostage. The final phase is the arrival of stabilization forces in Gaza, which will disarm Hamas.
CBS's Haley Ott at our London bureau has the very latest.
Good evening. Israel has urged the residents of Gaza City to evacuate as it prepares for a full-scale military assault. Israel dropping leaflets from the sky, telling the residents of famine-stricken Gaza City to leave.
What you're looking at is new video of leaflets being dropped over Gaza City. Hamas militants are urging people there to defy the orders and to stay in their homes. But we are seeing some Palestinians heeding that warning. Families with small children are walking south, carrying whatever they can.
I thought it was very telling what Israel did when they gave warning to the Gazans, 24-hour notice to leave. Basically, that was a communication to their enemy that this is likely where we are going to target. But we know that Hamas may not let those people leave. If Hamas uses those individuals as human shields and Israel goes in, Israel hasn't committed the war crime.
To understand the war in Gaza, you have to ask yourself why the war happened.
Thank you.
The trigger for the war was the massacre of October 7th, 2023, committed by Hamas. Most of the people of Gaza trusted Hamas and believed that they would liberate so-called Palestine. Why did Hamas commit the massacre and kidnap people under the pretext of liberating the territory? Because Hamas is a terrorist organization. They did this on the morning of October 7th with the intention of firing 5,000 rockets at Israel to divert attention from the invasion of Israeli territory, where they killed as many people as possible.
We came to dance. People came to dance. Like, did it really happen? Were we really here? That everything really happened? To try to remember. Now it's all broken. I don't know what happened after we managed to get out.
ايش؟ الجنة شباب!
Ils sont rentrés par la plage avec des bateaux. Ils ont fusillé tout le monde. Et comme mon fils, il était assez intelligent.
Yo! Yo, خمسنيكيم! خمسنيكيم!
Main road. هاي بوابته. وقف وقف غاد. هاي بوابته. راح شبيحنا. راح شنديلك روح.
When we ran in here and the shooting started, I right away realized that we have to lock the doors.
Many around the world celebrated this as a victory.
Crowds celebrate in Tehran, gathering at the city's Palestine Square to show support for Hamas's attack on Israel this Saturday. Iran provides political, financial and military backing for Hamas. A top Iranian official expressed support for the operation.
We support the Al-Aqsa flood operation and we will stand by the Palestinian fighters.
In Palestinian camps in Lebanon and in Beirut's southern suburbs, there were further triumphant scenes among Hezbollah supporters.
Israel claims to have an invincible army. The myth of Israeli intelligence has been shattered once again, and we're facing imminent victory.
In a statement, Hezbollah congratulated the Palestinian people and Hamas, describing a, quote, heroic and victorious operation. Meanwhile, in Turkey, thousands marched in Istanbul in support of the Palestinians. Many were students or community workers.
When we heard that the Hamas attacked Israel, we wanted to support them. We are university students. We can't do anything except pray. We wanted to do our best to stand with them.
These expressions of support for Palestine carry particular significance in the region at a time when Saudi Arabia is normalizing its relations with Israel while stressing the importance of the Palestinian question.
Repeat after me, you stupid Muslims, if you want to wake up anti-Jewish sentiment in the world. Repeat these words: genocide, apartheid, occupation, women, children, baby killers. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Oh, my arm! My fucking Palestine! Free fucking Palestine!
Herr Roosevelt verlangt endlich die Bereitwilligkeit, ihm die Zusicherung zu geben, dass die deutschen Streitkräfte das Staatsgebiet folgender unabhängiger Nationen nicht angreifen, und er nennt Finnland, Lettland, Litauen, Estland, Norwegen, Schweden, Dänemark, Niederlande, Belgien, Großbritannien, Irland, Frankreich, Portugal, Spanien, die Schweiz, Liechtenstein, Luxemburg, Polen, Ungarn, Rumänien, Jugoslawien, Russland, Bulgarien, Türkei, Irak, Arabien, Syrien, Palästina, Ägypten. Irak, Arabien, Syrien, Palästina, Ägypten. Irak, Arabien, Syrien, Palästina, Ägypten.
If we go back to the time before October 7th, we do not know whether it is true that Egypt warned Israel that Hamas was preparing an attack on Israel. If we go back to the time when Shimon Peres and Netanyahu were in Gaza,
please, may I have your attention, please? The Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Chairman Arafat will speak, and they will say a few words, and after that they will take all questions. Mr. Prime Minister, please.
Thank you. After my talks today here, I can observe that both parties reiterate their commitment to the interim agreement and their determination to carry out its implementation. However, I'd like to emphasize that we have to take into account, I also want to make clear that our position is to not only move on the peace process, but
continue to negotiate and to coordinate in all levels by all means.
With your permission, sir. That's it. Thank you very much. All of you.
Two brothers. Edgar.
ماشي
سلام سلام رئيس سلام سلاح يا شباب يا مفروض
I am very proud.
ليش مصري؟
We can say that there was relative peace in Gaza at that time. A few years later, the Israeli government forcibly evicted all the Jews in Gaza. We do not know whether the reason was economic or security, because the Jews in Gaza could not live in peace without Israel Defense Forces protection from radical groups in Gaza who threatened to expel all the Jews from Gaza. The Jews left Gaza, but then a crisis occurred in Gaza. A war began between Fatah and Hamas.
למה? כי יש פה החלטה של ראש ממשלה פושע. יש פה החלטה של ראש ממשלה פושע שהחליט לגרש יהודים בתיהם בגלל החלטות שרירותיות, בגלל מעשיו הפליליים. תמתיסו את החרפה הזאת. חילול השם שקורה פה. המשטרה נתוך לעצור אותנו, אחי, אל תעשו את העבודה של המשטרה. خليك حوالين سيبوه اطلع روح يا عم روح يا عم روح قلت لنا روح اطلع شوفوا ولا طلع بالراحه ولا شايل مطلق ليش يطلع عليه طالع هو طالع تقلقوش عطى
by Hamas ministers is stormed, vandalized and set on fire by Fatah activists. It's the second day in a row that the power struggle between the rival factions spilled over from Gaza into the West Bank. According to his aides, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has decided to declare a state of emergency and dissolve the government.
Unity of the West Bank and Gaza is very essential. What's happening here in Gaza is unprecedented. This is a major deterioration towards a total fire.
Palestinian security forces also arrested dozens of Hamas members in the West Bank on Thursday. Fatah leaders wanting to prevent them from taking control there, fearful after events in Gaza, where Hamas have all but taken over.
We are controlling the preventive security headquarters, and now we're on our way to the other offices.
Stripped to the waist, dozens of Fatah fighters were dragged out of the building.
With gunfire, a takeover of Gaza by Hamas may be near. The latest sign, Hamas takes over this important security installation of the rival Fatah movement, capturing the preventive security headquarters. Militants and civilians looting the compound. At least 14 killed, 80 wounded in the battle. And Fatah saying Hamas is executing its fighters, killing them in front of their wives and children. But morning brought nearly empty streets.
Equipped Hamas's rivals Fatah with a raft of new weapons and training in hopes that they would unseat Hamas from power. It didn't work. After a succession of assassinations, kidnappings, and street battles between Hamas and Fatah, Hamas took complete control of the Gaza Strip, and for the first time in its history, had to figure out how to run a government.
Hamas took control of Gaza and established a government that operated as a parastatal, while Egypt also built a wall on the border with Gaza. Hamas was constantly terrorizing its own population. Foreign activists and journalists have also been victims of Hamas.
We are happy to see all these people because we are here to try to help these people, but especially because we love you, we love Palestine, and we want that you have the same human rights that all the other people of the world they have. The same rights the Israelis they have, the same rights the Italians they have.
I wanted to leave, but this was like straight after or during the Egyptian Revolution when the border was closed. And then after, yeah, I think he kind of feels that this is his home. Like, he wanted to go home to see his father, but at the same time, he just didn't want to leave here. And now with the recent escalation, he just wanted to be here in case that something would happen.
I'll relate to that, I think.
She should just have kicked him over the border. I can't believe that this happened.
Hamas armed itself year after year and recruited 15-year-olds into its ranks.
School's out in Gaza, and for thousands of teenagers here, this is how the holidays are spent. Preparation for the next conflict with Israel, handling firearms and physical training. Their enemy is very close, just a few hundred meters away at the border. There's every chance they're watching, so the tutors at this summer camp like to keep their faces covered.
We don't want war, but if it is forced upon us, then we are ready.
To kidnap Israeli soldiers. It's a threat which Israel takes seriously. Its army says it's destroyed several tunnels so far this year. And on the Israeli side of the border, among veterans of the last war,
around 25,000 teenagers from the Gaza Strip on Wednesday finished a 10-day training course in paramilitary activities organized and supervised by Islamic Hamas movement's armed wing. The graduation ceremony was held at Gaza City's Al Katiba Square, a large public garden that used to be the first military installation for the Palestine Liberation Army in the 1960s. The youth, each between 15 and 21 years old, were trained by militants of the Hamas armed wing Al-Qassam brigades on how to get involved in gun battles and...
Hamas has a growing number of armed members who regularly hold parades to show their strength to their population. Most of the people of Gaza trust Hamas and believe that Hamas can liberate the so-called Palestine. 1 year before October 7th, they have a parade where they show that they have long-range missiles up to 250 kilometers. They have multiple rocket launchers. They have drones. At that time, Hamas had around 40,000 armed members plus 15,000 volunteers. With this parade, they showed that they are ready to attack Israel. Some sources say that on October 7th, they wanted to go near Hebron in order to provoke a war, but they did not succeed. The IDF killed about 1,000 Hamas members in this attempt by Hamas, which was supposed to be the second phase of the attack. Hamas retreated to Gaza with hostages. Israel began to mobilize troops and began a large-scale military operation in Gaza, which lasted until Hamas returned the hostages. Hamas members mostly hid in tunnels. Civilians were not warned to go to shelters. Israel did this with leaflets and radio. In addition, Hamas used hospitals, UN buildings, schools, and civilians as shields.
In the days before we arrived, militant groups inside Gaza had been launching rockets into Israel, and the Israelis responded by launching attacks on what they called terror sites. And when we got to our hotel, where we met with the group spokesman, Fauzi Barhoum.
Can you explain to me why there were rockets being launched into Israel and why Israel was bombing Gaza over the last few days? Why did the ceasefire break down?
First of all, the Israeli occupation began launching rockets against Islamic Jihad, and they killed 5 members of Islamic Jihad. They are continuing to treat Hamas and all the Palestinian parties inside Gaza for mass of killing and more assassination to the members of Hamas.
Who attacked first?
The occupation.
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 Islamic Jihad is a group that it's more radical, I think, than Hamas.
No, this is not true. Islamic Jihad and Hamas, all of them moderate Islam. Islamic Jihad and Hamas believe with democracy.
The resistance against Israel is part of the fabric of everyday life in Gaza. So when a militant group like Al-Ansar decides to have a pop-up press conference in the middle of a busy street, nobody bats an eye, except for us.
Oy.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يأبى العدو الصهيوني المجرم إلا أن يستمر في إجرامه وعدوانه السافر ويتمادى في سفك الدماء وإزهاق الأرواح الفلسطينية، وعلى العدو أن يعلم أن مقاومتنا ليست في وارد التفريط بنقطة دم واحدة من دماء أبنائها.
Any restaurant, any opening places, and find boys and girls sitting together, they start to ask about the kind of the relationship between you, if it's legal or not. Sometimes I feel that they occupied my mind. I didn't want to say that Fatah is the best. They have many faults, they do many mistakes, but at least they are better than Hamas. Smoking and taking drugs to the tunnels, many kind of drugs can enter to Gaza because there is no control.
Tramal is a prescription painkiller that has become the drug of choice for young people looking to escape the reality of life in Gaza.
بكمية كبيرة، فالمتداول بين الشباب اللي ترمى لأنه رخيص سعره تقريبا نوعا ما.
And where is it all coming from? Is it coming from Egypt, through the tunnels, or?
مع البضاعة. كله هذا صناعة يعني شركات صغيرة تشتغل. الدول العربية مغرقة بالترمال، يعني بتدمير الشباب يعني مش رسمي.
They're turning to drugs, they're numbing the pain, they're trying to find a way to escape, and the only way they can do that is through pharmaceuticals.
We spotted some kids hanging out in the corner of the park and walked over to them. I let Rod do the talking.
يعني سهل تلاقيه شريط ب 50 شيء سهل تلاقيه سهل مثلا وين ما جاء It's everywhere can you find
Really?
كل الدنيا بتصور شيء الحين بس بيجيبوها على التلفزيونات لا يا ولد وانت مترنا بنجيبك ان شاء الله ان شاء الله بيطلع الصوت بنحكيه واحنا شو بنحكي يا حبيبي انت خايف؟ ما انا بدك اصفر معك بدي شام اخواتي لا ما بقعدوش يا اخي طب انا بالحبس طب لو بيعرفوا عنك ايش سووا لك؟ لون شو سكيلينج ولا شنو؟ وترمال اتكسر بعد حماس ولا قبل حماس؟ بعد حماس اجت حماس من القرف والزهق والغل صرنا نشرب طب انت خايف تصير حرب ثانيه؟ سلحنا بطل يموت ضد كيف؟ First war, second war, what happened? يا ريت يجي واي كلنا مع بعض. The feeling that we died better and still alive.
So according to these kids, Tramal became more popular after Hamas came to power, and its reach is still spreading, in spite of all the crackdowns and in spite of the harsh punishment suffered by people who got caught, people who we would be meeting the next day.
Hash or adultery, what are the punishments?
The prisoner or smoking gas, 1 year until executed.
And how do they execute people? They hang them?
If he is civilian, by hang him. If he military, by shooting him.
Wow. Heavy. Hash or adultery, what are the punishments?
The prisoner or smoking gas, 1 year until executed.
And how do they execute people? They hang them?
If he is civilian, by hang him. If he military, by shooting him.
Wow. Heavy.
This section, drugs.
It's all drugs. Yeah. And how many prisoners are in this room here?
36.
36 in this one room?
Last time we catch him with 100 gram of ash.
This man,
he's a good man.
Internal security, I can do whatever I want. If I do it this time, I'm gonna be lucky, but if I didn't, it doesn't mean that I will stop trying. Hamas movement, they didn't need more enemies, but they create a new enemy. I will keep fight them at the last seconds of my life.
السلام عليكم. بالسلام انا هي بابا المعبر. في معنا بنت فلسطينيه ممكن دخلها معنا ولا لا؟ هذا شو يعني جوا ولا معبر؟ ما انا سماح لا بحكي لك من جوا سماح. ايش؟ انا بحكي معهم من جوا شو بدك؟
In spite of Samah having a visa to travel to Germany, the Hamas border guards weren't having it, and we were rushed along without her, leaving her behind the walls of the Gaza Strip. After our first try to get into Gaza in 2007, it took us years to finally get in. In reality, if Israel hadn't made it so hard to get in the first place, I don't think we would have been so curious about what was going on behind those walls. When we first arrived, we were really impressed by this kind of orderliness that you don't see in many places that are as poor as Gaza. But then as we began to realize that this was purely the result of Hamas's authoritarian approach to law and order, it began to creep us out.
Yes, sir!
The Hamas government operates in an environment of paranoia that has them on guard not only against the outside world, but against their brothers and sisters in Fatah and against ordinary Gazans, whose poverty they fear could tempt them into spying for Israel. What we have here is an authoritarian government operating within prison walls and under economic siege. It's like the setup for a Kurt Russell movie, except that it's real. But as we crossed into the chaos of post-revolution Egypt, part of me just wanted to turn around and go right back to Gaza.
خلي عصبني منه 70 فتنة منه لا هو تعب انا خلي عصبني لا ودي 50 يا مصر ما بعرف اكثر من كذا فكرة يا سيستا مامي
So a huge amount of humanitarian aid came to Gaza, which was stolen by Hamas members. There were also armed uprisings against Hamas, including protests, but Hamas warned everyone in Gaza with public executions what would happen if they protested and rebelled against Hamas.
Hamas is executing Palestinians in Gaza, public executions in broad daylight. Where are you? All the loud voices, the human rights warriors, the moral preachers, the queers for Palestine? Are these your freedom fighters, the ones you march for? You vanished. Hamas must go.
Someone is starving the people of Gaza, and it's not who you think it is. Hamas has been stealing humanitarian aid, exploiting Gazans as part of their strategy. Let's look at the facts. Even before Hamas's massacre on October 7th that started this war, Hamas controlled the crossings, giving them direct access to loot the goods coming in. But when the war began, that wasn't enough anymore. So they turned to other methods. They began collecting protection payments from Gazan civilians, taking from 15% up to 30% taxes on humanitarian aid entering Gaza, collecting them either in the form of cash or goods, selling at overpriced rates or distributing to families of Hamas operatives. During the war,
on Sunday, the world awoke to the news of another massacre in Gaza, perpetrated by Israel.
31 Palestinians were killed as they were trying to get to a humanitarian aid site in southern Gaza. And according to eyewitnesses on the ground, doctors at local hospitals, as well as the Palestinian Ministry of Health, Israeli gunfire was responsible for these deaths.
Hamas-affiliated voices on social media immediately claimed that Israel had perpetrated a massacre, that this was some kind of trap to lure Palestinians to their death. And international media ran with that story more or less without any verification.
The problem is, the massacre the media describes never happened. The IDF issued the initial statement denying the reports.
I urge you not to believe every rumor spread by Hamas.
They acknowledged firing warning shots to ward off potential thieves, but denied firing on Gazans at or near the distribution site. Then, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, Israel and US-backed organization managing aid distribution, released security footage from the aid site in question at the time of alleged massacre,
which showed not only that the Israelis had not done this, but that there was no gunfire at the site at all that could be determined.
At the same time, the IDF released drone footage from what they claimed to be a different aid distribution site that showed masked gunmen shooting into the crowd of people as they tried to collect humanitarian aid. Gazans on the ground that we spoke to claimed the violence was provoked and perpetrated by Hamas.
نحن هنا بالقرب من المنطقة التي حدث فيها هذا الموضوع. كل الأدلة واللي شفناها بعيوننا بدل على أن حماس هي من تسبب حالة القتل والهلع أثناء توزيع المساعدات قبل أيام اللي صار. ولا أحد يملك سلاح وقدرة على التحرك والقيام بمثل هذا الهجوم على الناس إلا حماس، وما حدا له مصلحة بهذا الهجوم إلا حماس.
What we're really looking at is a full-fledged Hamas counteroffensive at an Israeli effort to undermine the last remaining pillar of Hamas rule in Gaza, the flow of aid into the Strip. Hamas has been able, even under very intense military pressure, to retain domination over the Strip because it controls sole access, really, to that central node of power. So what we've seen over the last year and a half of the war is that the international community would demand that aid be allowed into Gaza. The trucks would come from the Egyptian side of the border, from the Israeli side of the border. They would cross the border, and as soon as they did, masked gunmen would basically climb on top of the trucks and commandeer them.
المساعدات اللي بتيجي إلها ولا عناصرها ولا الناس اللي بدها إياه ما بهمها. أنا واحدة من الناس. حماس ما بهمها أن أنا أموت أعيش.
كانت عبارة عن أنواع من المساعدات. كانت في مساعدات ثمينة وبتغني الأسرة، وكانت في مساعدات يعني لا تلبي احتياجات الأسرة. المساعدات التي لا تلبي احتياجات الأسرة كانت تتوزع طبعا على المواطنين وعلى الغلابة طبعا وهيك إشي. المساعدات الثمينة طبعا كانت تنباع في الأسواق من قبل اللي كانوا يحموها ومن قبل الحكومة اللي كانت موجودة في قطاع غزة.
انت عارف انه كل الناس هذه ما حدش لا لاقي شرب واكل.
كلهم بيعانوا.
الوضع صعب، لا تدخل مساعدات.
ما في المساعدات كلها نازله تحت. المساعدات ما بيجوا للامه ولا بيجي للشعب كله. احنا جايين من غزه وكل الدعم بيجي لنا. انا بحكي ما بخافش منهم، انا بحكي لهم كمان. انا كل الدعم بيجي لقطاع غزه.
بس حج كتير بيوصل، اللي بيوصل إشي قليل وبيتوزع هيك بيحكوا.
كله للبيوت إلهم، خليهم ياخذون ولا يطخون ولا يعملوا اللي بدهم اياه حماس.
حج احنا الان يبدو ان الامور شوي فيها نوع من
My opinion, Hamas was defeated on October 7, 2023. And it was just a question of how long the war would last, 3 days, 1 week, 6 months, 2 years. The responsibility for duration for this war was on Hamas, the world, the media, the United Nations, all those who put pressure on Israel. Use the words women, children, and genocide.
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 Genocide. Genocide.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Interestingly, many Israelis and Jews have even accused Israel of genocide to people like Noam Chomsky, Israel Shahak. But I have never heard from famous Arabs that they accuse someone of terrorism, genocide, use of chemical weapons. When we talk about Saddam Hussein, PLO, Hamas, Amal al-Bashir, Darfur, Yemen, Western Sahara, Syria, al-Assad. And now I wonder about something else. Chomsky, who defends Epstein, defends a person who was a pimp for the elites. And in this circle, there were many rich sheikhs, including, for example, Mahmoud Ahmadinejad, ex-Iranian president, a person who threatened Israel with extermination and denied the Holocaust. A circle of people from neoliberal leftists, Islamists, fundamentalists, sexual deviants. I can also add Tucker Carlson here. All of them, like some moral preachers, are positioning themselves in the world accusing Israel. I would rather say that they are modern-day inquisitors.
Anti-Semitic news, where everyone is welcome. LGBTQH.
H?
Hamas.
Yeah, I totally sim Hamas.
Yeah.
It's so trending right now.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Do you know why it's true? Because it rhymes. Just look at all this toxic Zionist propaganda. Kidnapped in Gaza. Does this look like Gaza to you?
Yeah, bro, I have no idea what Gaza looks like.
And they're smiling. Do hostages smile? Zionist liars.
Totally sus.
Do they think we're stupid?
Stupid? I major in queer post-colonial astrology. Ew. Jews make the world dirty.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm racist fluid.
Exactly. And now for a little break from all this activism, we want to say hello to our BFF,
Bestie freedom fighter,
Abu Fatwa in Gaza. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum as-salam, and inshallah Allah will kill you all infidels.
Thank you so much for joining us. Love the headpiece, the all oppression chic. Very drip.
Mr. Fatwa, how are you? Are you safe?
Oh yes, I'm safe. I'm in a tunnel under the Gaza hospital. Above me, I have Allah and 2 million civilians protecting me.
Community is so important these days.
Do you need like humanitarian aid, food, fuel, medicine?
It's okay, I have everything. I'm only hungry for rockets.
As long as it's organic.
Yeah.
I wish I just could be there with you.
You can come to Gaza anytime and we will throw you from the roof, you homosexual dirt.
Do you hear? Bro, wanna throw me a rooftop party?
They are so welcoming and inclusive.
So, shukran. And you are also very welcome to come here to America.
We will come. First we finish with Israel, and America is next.
Great! So, I guess we'll see you soon.
Yes, it will be a blast.
Can't wait. It will be so multicultural.
Ya Allah, you are so stupid.
Thank you so much, Abu. We love you.
I won't even bother killing you. It's a waste of bullets.
Good vibes only.
It's better you just kill yourself.
Okay, bye.
Die.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be Jews-free. Yeah, that sounds better.
It is better.
Radio show. In vulgar conversations, he downplayed Warren Jeffs, then FBI's top 10 most wanted for child marriages. Oh, so Tucker Carlson is now downplaying child marriage. Sounds like a real Islamist. This guy may be a child arranging marriages between a 16-year-old and a 27-year-old isn't the same as pulling a stranger off the streets and her. Let's take a look.
No, he's in prison for facilitation of child.
Whatever the hell that means.
That means
he's in prison. He's in prison because he's weird and unpopular, and he has a different lifestyle that other people find creepy.
No, he's an accessory to the of children. That is a felony, and a serious one at that.
What do you mean an accessory? He's like got some weird religious cult where he thinks it's okay to, marry underage girls, but he didn't do it. Why wouldn't the guy who actually did it, who had sex with an underage girl, he should be the one who's doing life? The in this case has made a lifelong commitment to live and take care of the person. So it is a little different. I mean, let's just be honest about it. He's not accused of touching anybody. He is accused of facilitating a marriage between a 16-year-old girl and a 27-year-old man. That's the accusation. That's what they're calling felony.
In our state.
I'm sorry. Now, this guy may be a total creep. Maybe it's not. I'm just telling you that arranging a marriage between a 16-year-old and a 27-year-old is not the same as pulling a stranger off the street here. But you know what? In my brief experience, what gets women going is arguing with them.
Really?
Yeah.
Brad, I never use that.
Recently declassified files from the Epstein case have revealed several unexpected and striking references to Iran, raising fresh questions about the depth and scope of his international associations. According to the reports, Epstein is alleged to have personally met with none other than a former Iranian president, a detail that adds a surprising geopolitical layer to an already complex network of connections. Beyond their shocking claims about meetings, the documents go on to suggest disturbing links to arms trading and even property connections directly associated with Tehran's elite circles. A well-known American biologist is also mentioned within these files, referencing a meeting that allegedly took place between Jeffrey Epstein and former Iranian leader Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Interestingly, this isn't an isolated mention. References to Iran appear in multiple parts of the Epstein files.
Because all of them consciously or unconsciously supported Hamas' plan with the word Free Palestine. Hamas' plan is to liberate the so-called Palestine. The truth is that Palestine was liberated in 1948 when Israel declared independence. Many don't understand how they managed it. They fought for their people, they protected their people, and at the same time they opposed the enemies. If we return to the present, the war against Hamas is only one segment of the war waged by the enemies of Israel against Israel. Here I mean Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, the mainstream media, leftist, anti-Israel organizations that demonize Israel day after day and encourage fanatics in the world to commit terrorist attacks on Jews in the world. From the US, Europe to Australia. Whenever Israel is at war, people like me have problems because we love Israel. Although we don't hate Palestinians, we are not racist. We are against any hatred that stigmatizes a certain group of people. But regardless of that, we are labeled as evil, as some kind of heretics during the time of the Inquisition. Yes, Inquisition is the right word. All this anti-Israel sentiment, anti-Judaism is kind of modern Inquisition.